Hey guys, before we get into today's episode, just want to let you know there is a quick trigger warning. I do mention sexual assault, depression, suicide, um, murder, and some harsh themes when it comes to physical safety and also some mental health issues. So please, even though it is brief in the episode, if that is not something that you are okay with listening to, just letting you guys know that maybe you should skip this episode. And I'll see you guys next week. Thank you. Hey everyone, welcome to the 5th episode of Porn on My Thoughts, hosted by myself, HJ. Here I talk about whatever I want, whatever I'm feeling, whatever I'm thinking, and I've decided to go a new route when it comes to choosing topics. So as you can see, I randomly chose today's topic. It is about social media and how the social media space is terrifying. In both, like, it's physically terrifying and mentally terrifying. And I'll talk a little bit about both and how I feel about both of those things. So on one hand, when I say physically terrifying, I mean that there are so many crazy people out there, and you never know who you're talking to on the other side. And you might believe that you're talking to someone who could be your age. They say they live near you, or they say they live in a different country, or whatever. And it can be some crazy pedophilic person, or someone who's trying to traffic you, or someone who's trying to steal your identity, or whatever. Like, and they can make it so convincing. They can use AI to create pictures or images, or they could use someone else's photos and just like edit them a little bit, and you'll never know. And it's just so terrifying. And especially for younger children and kids and teens, and they don't really understand that. They're just like, oh, I just want to talk to these people, they're friends, they seem cool. And it can end up in some very terrifying positions physically, where, like I said, you can be kidnapped or trafficked or abused or whatever, or even killed. Like, it's just such a terrifying place. Um, I remember when I was about, I want to say 11 or 12 years old. I can't really, I was about that age. And I don't know if you guys remember Kik, but Kik was a text messaging app. Um, and you could, even though most people like you, they would give you like, oh, here's my Kik. Um, you could also talk to random people like all the time. And I used to do that. Me and my sisters would do that. We'd talk to random people on there. Um, and I remember I somehow, cause Kik used to have like these apps like within the app that allow you to talk to a bunch of different people. I remember I talked to one person for to help me with my math questions. That was like probably a good genuine moment. But on the other side of it, I remember talking to this person, and like I said, I was about 12 years old, and he said he was offering me um some kind of like modeling job. And you can kind of assume what type of person this was, but at the time I didn't see the signs. I didn't understand it, and I didn't really understand it until I was about 19 years old when I did a mission trip, where the ladies that I worked with, it's at Baptist Friendship House in New Orleans, and those women do great work. Um, and they help women who have been trafficked get out of those situations. They also help with homelessness and childhood homelessness and a bunch of other things. And if you are in the New Orleans area, please donate to them. I can leave a link below where you can find them. I think they also have an Amazon wish list that you can donate to. Um, but anyway, I didn't realize until then the type of situation that I was in. But I was talking to this guy and this man, um, and he was saying that you can model, just send me a picture of yourself. And I did. I sent him a picture of myself, but I just sent like a regular picture of myself. Just when we were at a drive-in movie, and we were during the intermission, went to the bathroom. My sisters took a picture of me. I was just wearing like a regular t-shirt and some jeans, and he said, "Oh no, I need a picture with you and like with less clothes," is basically what he was saying. I can't remember the exact words, but he sent me pictures of things that I could potentially model. And it was so confusing because he sent me, I should have known at the time, but he sent me two pictures. There was a picture of a woman, an old, like an actual woman, and it wasn't as, it was kind of a swimsuit, but it looked more like lingerie. And then there was a second picture that looked like it was a picture of a children's swimsuit from like it looked like it came from Walmart. And he sent me these two pictures and he said this type of stuff that you will be modeling or something. And he was saying that I needed to take a bit more of a scandalous photo. Obviously, he was using different words. I just can't remember what those words were. But I was like, oh, I don't really feel comfortable doing that. And he was like, oh, why not? I just need these pictures so I can um, see if you have like the body or the vibe that I'm looking for or something. He said, I can't remember the exact words. And I just it at the time I thought this was just like, oh, this is just a job that I'm just like not ready for. I just didn't want to do this. I didn't realize that it was just some predatory man looking to get pictures of naked girls. I did not know that. Um I also remember countless conversations I've had on Omegle, or I know some people say Omegle. That sounds weird to me, but Omegle, because they had Omegle has like a live chat function where you can do video chat and then just the regular. I never did the video chat, but I remember talking to so many like adults, and a lot of the men that I ended up getting in contact with, because I mostly got in contact with men. I talked to very few women. um, they would talk about a lot of sexually explicit things. And sometimes they knew how old I was, and sometimes I would lie about how old I was. And there were a lot of times they would try to get your information. It was always more than just the basic, they'll like your age, your they would have something called ASL. And I don't know if they still do this because I'm not on chat rooms now as an adult. But they'll have ASL, age, sex, location. And so at the time, mine was a range of things because I did this for several years. It was like 15, 16, and then female or F, USA. And I would do that. And I would come in contact with so many different people who would try to get more information from me. But the one thing I had on my side was my mom made me terrified of the internet anyway. So all of my social media accounts, none of it had my real information on there. So I was always too scared to give my real information, and I gave out a fake name. And I'm not going to tell you my fake name because I still use this fake name if men try to hit on me in public. Um, but and I need to keep my fake name. But that was the name that I used. And just the amount of information that they would try to get from me, it scared me. Um, and they would get I would either give out my Kick account or I had it posted on my Instagram account in my bio. I'd be like, add me on Kick, and then I'd have my Kick name. So people would find me on there, or they'll try to talk to me on Instagram. Um, I used to have a couple people, we called them posers, but they were, and I'm only saying these like we call them because I don't know if people use these same terms now because this was like 10 years ago. But on Facebook, we'd have posers, and those were people who typically just pretended to be celebrities, and they would try to talk to you. I remember I was talking to quote unquote Justin Bieber, And I was a huge believer for about 5 years. Um, and so I knew I wasn't really talking to him, but it was just like the belief, and I would talk to him on Facebook. Um, and it's just so scary the situations I could have ended up in had my mom not already put the fear in me. And if I wasn't scared of everything, like outside of her, just like not comfortable with myself anyway. Um, but just like I could have been led into so many different things through social media and not really knowing, like there's not enough barriers, not enough protection to know who you're talking to. Um, and I remember there's this episode on Criminal Minds. I hope I can find it. But there's this episode on Criminal Minds in season 10. And I'm only questioning that because I don't really watch anything past season 9. Um, but in Criminal Minds season 10, the the B plot for that season follows Kate's niece. Kate is played by Jennifer Love Hewitt, and Kate's niece, who she's raising after her sister and her sister's husband passed away from in 9/11. Um, her sister's niece, so I mean not her sister's niece, her sister's daughter, so her niece, and her friend were talking to some guy on the internet. They found some guy on some kind of social media account, and he pretended to be this teenager, which was already weird, but it ended up being a predator who was among this group of people, like a group of um, traffickers, and they ended up kidnapping her and her friend because they had said that they had a date and they were pretending to go somewhere, and she ended up getting kidnapped. And that is real. That is so real. It is so possible. It can really happen because if you are not careful on the internet, anybody can find you. And speaking about finding you, if on TikTok there's a guy named Yuval, he seems like a great guy. Sure, I don't know him, but he finds people out of, it's insane how what the skills, the techniques, the clues, that's the word I'm looking for, that he uses to find people's location. Now he states that he gets these people's permission before he uses his detective clues to figure out where they are and post it, and he always waits until they're no longer in that location anymore. Like there was an episode, there was a video he did for Jordan the Stallion, and he used the location of the moon to find him. Makes no sense. I wouldn't be able to think of that. But my point is that you can be found at any point on the internet. No matter what picture you post, someone is able to find you, especially with your background. Like, I make sure I never post pictures. If I'm taking pictures and I plan to post them, I do not post them same day, and I do not post them especially if I'm still in that location. Like my husband and I, we were still dating. We went to Atlantic City a couple years ago. I did not post those pictures until well after I got back home. I very seldomly post pictures in videos when I am home. Um, and if more often than not, I put stuff in my close friends if it has my location in it. Sometimes I'll just do my regular story. Um, but I'm like very, very cautious because you can be found very easily, which is terrifying for celebrities. I completely understand that how celebrities try to do what they can to keep themselves hidden because people will dox them all the time. That is a terrifying thing, especially like if an influencer or YouTuber or whoever has a fan base and they call out somebody and they don't like that person. Um, that fan base will go and try and find that person, which I don't understand why people do that, but it's scary that they're able to. There was also this one TikTok video of a guy who posted a hate comment on a woman's Instagram, not Instagram, on her TikTok page. It was a very, very racist comment. And she drove 3 hours and found this man, along with some other information about him and his job. That is insane. That is crazy on both accounts. It's crazy that she was able to do so. And insane that he would even try it. Like, that's why, another thing, that's why I don't argue with people on the internet. Because I don't know what you're capable of, and I don't know where you are. And I have too much to lose. So I'm not doing that. But I appreciate when people try to keep their anonymity, because there are people out there that are crazy or that have this false sense of connection with you. Yes, people have a form of a relationship with you through the screen, but it stops at the screen and it's not real. Like, there is no true connection outside of that, outside of, this is just someone that you're fond of. This is someone that whose content you truly enjoy. This is someone who, whatever it is, right? And on the other side, that person can be like, I appreciate my followers. I love everything that they do for me. They say some really kind things. They always uplift me. They've helped me. They inspired me, whatever. But it doesn't go anywhere past that. It shouldn't go anywhere past that. Yet you have people who create these delusions in their head that it is more than that. And that is terrifying, especially when they start to implant themselves in your lives. And it's all through social media. It's scary how that physical harm can come to you through social media. So that's one way. The other side of that is mentally scary. It's that it can alter how you think very easily. It can alter your behavior. It can influence you for good or for bad. And that's terrifying, how it is done so easily, especially the younger you are, the easier it is. And also, if you're someone who is, I don't want to say gullible, maybe more naive to the internet and the actual power of it, or if you're just someone who is kind of someone who is way too open to everything. I know that might sound a bit pessimistic, but I feel like in this day and age, we should be suspicious of some things. And I also feel like because we have this wealth of knowledge at our hand, it's made us lazy. So when we see information on the internet, we don't really fact check it anymore. We just kind of take it for what it is. If someone says, oh, studies say that everybody needs to wear blue shirts, it'll make you happier, you will find hordes of people going to buy blue shirts. The stock market price of a blue shirt will skyrocket, because no one's going to go back and check that study. It's just this one TikTok video that someone said, and now everybody believes it. That is terrifying. Social media has so much control over the mind, or it's being used as a form of control. It's a tool. Um, and I want to make sure I say that specifically, that social media is a tool, because it doesn't it can be can have some great benefits to it, especially as far as connection and meeting with people. I've met some really great people on the internet. Actually, if I hadn't been on the internet, I would not be married with a son today, because I met my roommate on the internet, on Facebook of all places, and we lived in two different states, almost 13 hours away. And I met her on the internet, and a couple months later, I moved in with her. We became really good friends. I met her cousin. I am married to her cousin today, and her and I are still really great friends. So there can be some. Also, I don't recommend doing that. That was a one-off exception. Don't. That's generally very dangerous. Don't do that. Do not follow my footsteps. Even if I did have great results, just word of caution, don't do that. Um, but Um, my point is that social media can be used to influence great behaviors. I have seen people start protests on through social media. I've seen people um, raise awareness of a lot of things that even I didn't even know about, certain illnesses and behaviors and um, injustices. Like people have found children or missing people through so it does have great benefits. However, because of its strong pull on people or the way that it's being used, it can be used negatively and negatively impact how we think, um, especially when it comes to how you think about yourself. I think that's the biggest thing. I think media has always done that. Um, the difference now is that that's generalized social idea of how you're supposed to look, act, and feel is readily accessible in the palm of our hands with cell phones or smartphones specifically. Um, and it's easier to see, oh, I don't fit this mold. I don't um, I don't look like this. I don't have this body shape. I don't think like this. I don't have this hair color. I don't wear makeup like this. Or I don't wear makeup at all. Or I should be walking like this. I should be talking to guys like this. I should talk to women like this. I shouldn't raise my children like this. I should do this with my children. It's right there. And I feel like it's not a great thing to have all of that at the palm of your hand. I feel like we have to create some kind of boundary between ourselves and social media, some kind of barrier so we're not falling into it because it can control how we think so much if we allow it to. Um, Having so many different ideas and opinions, I don't think that's a good thing. Um, I do think it's a good thing to to see some of it, to have some kind of different perspectives. I think that is a good thing to a fault. But I feel like if you have way too many options, you get overwhelmed, you get confused, and I feel like it can lead to um, mental health issues. I feel like it caused, I don't even feel like, I feel like there are, I'm going to find one. I'm going to find a couple. If I do, I'll throw them on the screen. But I feel like there are several um, research studies that are showing how much social media is aiding in causing depression. And also people um, ending their own lives. And it's a very scary thing. I've seen many a story of someone being cyberbullied, um, and they decided that they couldn't handle it anymore. Um, and that's a terrifying thing. That is a scary thing. And the people who are doing the bullying, they feel protected because behind the screen you can be anybody. Um, you can say what you want, you can do what you want, and there are no repercussions. Um, and it seems that the people in control of these social media websites aren't really caring to stop that because they make more money the longer you're on social media. And if hate and harmful language and rage and bullying, if all these negative things are fueling people's time on the internet, then of course they're not going to do anything about it. Um, but it is taking people every single day. Um, it's taking, I feel like it's making us soulless. It's taking away empathy. It's taking away compassion. It's taking away so many things. Simple care and respect, shared human decency for our fellow humans. Um, and it's such a scary thing about how much it can affect you. Just with my own personal experience, just looking through social media in the past few years, it's has sped up the clock for me and made me feel like I'm running out of time, which I've already kind of felt like that, but seeing it even more on social media, seeing other people my age doing bigger and greater things, seeing people younger than me doing bigger and greater things, it's scary that I feel that I'm comparing myself so much. I feel like that's what it is. Social media helps you compare. If anything, it wants you to compare. And I need to stop personifying it because, like I said, social media is a tool. It's just the people behind it. Um, and it just makes you really want to. You really need to think about what you're putting out on the internet, how much you're how much you're on it. Um, and we need to like rephrase, not rephrase. We need to like revamp the whole thing. Like we could just start from scratch. Um, need to like talk to, I don't know. Everybody needs a therapist. That's one thing I've learned. Um, and I feel like in order to make the change, enough people have to care. Um, and even with the people who say they care, they're not willing to do anything about it because they have this defeatist mindset that's just like, well, not a few people care, so not enough people are going to do anything about it, so why should I? And I feel like that's the problem. That also mindset um, runs rampant in a different conversation, but I'm going to save that conversation for a different episode. But if we can change who's being rewarded for the negative behaviors, so the influencing to be something you're not, the pushing to be um, to go outside of what you're capable of, and what I mean by that is like living beyond your means so that you can be what they want you to be. And also we need to remove the clock. Like everybody's supposed to be doing this by this time. Um, if we can use the internet instead for connection, individuality, um, compassion, um, sharing our stories, just something that's a bit more genuine and stop rewarding everything that is not that, anything that is harmful or helpful, then there will be a change. But because those negative and harmful things are making the people at the top a lot of money, they're not, it seems like no one's going to do anything about that. And I just want things to change. I want social media to be a safe place. I want it to be a happy place. I'm tired of having to go on months and months long breaks from social media because I can't handle it mentally anymore. It's just too many awful things on there, from horrendous news stories to celebrity drama that I don't care about, or influencer drama, to what I should be looking like. Just so much foolishness that's on the internet, and that's making me feel like I should be doing more, or making me feel like I should, well, just doing more with my life that I should have done, not should be, should have done, that I'm not, that I'm inadequate of a person, because I haven't done XYZ by my age, or that I am not good enough because I didn't pursue 80 million, um, just making me feel like I should have done so much more. There are things I wish I could have done, but I couldn't, and that was just the situation that I was in. But it's like the internet kind of guilts you into it. It's like, oh, you're not much of a person. Oh, you were being lazy, or you have too many excuses, or when in actuality, no, I just didn't have the money. Oh, it's your fault that you didn't have the money. You didn't have the grind set mindset. You didn't do this. I'm like, no, it's just how life worked out for me. Um, could I have made some better decisions at some points? Yes, obviously. But it still's not gonna change the fact that how my life ended up, um, and what I didn't do is not, uh, it's not good enough because it doesn't match what society says it should be. Um, I am where I am for a reason. I believe that. Um, and I'm tired of going down these spirals of negative thoughts because I feel inadequate because of what social media is telling me. And I'm tired of looking at that. I have like tried my best to curate my algorithms to funny videos and um, artwork, and I don't just mean like paintings, but like any kind of artists, like fiber artists or painters or sculptors or seamstresses or musicians or and seeing that kind of stuff to cute cat videos and cute animals and food content. I try to avoid interacting with drama so much because I can influencer content so much because I'm so tired of feeling like I need to do something. I need to be something. Um, and what I've seen, how I've seen the effects of social media on myself and how much it has affected my mental state is terrifying. Of how it shows how strong the powers of social media are, how strong it is, and also seeing it on other people, and I'm tired of it being that way. Um, yeah, I'm gonna end it here. I might do a part two because I could just rant on this for so long because I feel so strongly about it. Um, yeah, I can't. I feel myself getting angry. This one was a little bit longer. I will see you guys in the next one. You can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Fairy Network, FHERI Network. One of them is Fairy.network, and I can never remember which one it is, but I'll have it in the comment section. Not in the comment section, in the description box. Um, if you listen to my last episode, I am still working on that book of poems. I'm also working on a couple other things. Um, we will see. But yes, I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas or Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, or any other holidays you celebrate. Please be safe for the new year. Um, do not drink and drive. All the safety stuff. Please be with people you trust. Don't do anything foolish. We want to see you make it into 2026. Um, Also, if you are on social media and the internet is telling you you should be this and you should be that, that's a lie. You shouldn't be anything other than who you are. Um, and you are great. You are loved. You are cared for. Just remember that. Just remember that the internet is not someone who can. Don't let it change you. Don't let it change you. Don't let it change, unless you're just an awful human being and hurting people. Don't let it change your personality. Don't let it take away your spark. If you play guitar and you feel like there are way too many other people playing guitar, that don't matter. Go out there and play your guitar. If you are someone who is obsessed with little tiny turtle figurines and that's your thing and you want to share that with people, go do that and don't let the internet tell you you're weird for it. If you are a black person, and I'm only saying specifically black people because I am a black woman myself. If you are doing something and people are threatening to take your black card, screw them, because that's not real. There's nothing that says you are less black. If you like anime, go watch anime. If you like rock music, go listen to that, because first off, we created it anyway. But don't let anybody stop you. Do what you love. The internet's not real. Go do what you enjoy. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in, pouring out my thoughts. Toodles. Real quick before we go, I do want to add, if you do need help, if you need someone to talk to, you can dial the National Suicide and Crisis Prevention Hotline. It is 988. I will leave a link to their website, but it is a simple 988 call. There is someone there to talk to you. All right, guys. Bye.